go online and make sure that he's there. You can hear us, Councillor Johan?
Okay, he's got himself muted, which is good. Maybe text him. Okay. Can you hear us, Shane?
I can hear you.
Ooh,
I can't see you. Can you see me and hear me?
I can see you.
I can see an RM Cornwall with a D in it.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's just another thing of me. Let me see if I can find a bigger one. See if it is there.
And it's definitely coming through the owl.
Yeah, we can hear you, Shane, so that's good enough.
So that should be
Yeah, that's good. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not.
Shane, when we're voting, if you're voting yes, I want you to say yay. If you're voting no, say no.
Okay.
Give me 1 minute. It's 5 o'clock. I call the meeting to order. We acknowledge we are gathered on Treaty 1 and Treaty 2 territories, and that Manitoba is located in the treaty territories and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota Oyote, Deninsulin, Ojibwe, and Nehetayak. We acknowledge Manitoba is located on the homeland of the Red River Métis. We respect the spirit and the intent of treaties and treaty making, and remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration. Be it resolved that the minutes of the July 15th, 2025 regular meeting of council as amended and the July 3rd, 2025 special meeting be approved as circulated and posted. Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. It's carried. So the first, be it resolved that the agenda be adopted as presented. Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, we've still got a few minutes before we start our first public hearing. So let me go down to communications, number 7. Be it resolved that council accepts the communications as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councillor Drohan, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried. Council Finance, 8.1. Be it resolved that the payroll accounts be approved for payment as follows. Direct deposit payroll of $18,779.28. Direct deposit payroll of $22,060.75 for a total of $40,840.03. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Brown. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. Be it resolved that council approve the list of accounts for expenses for checks numbered 12939 to 12987 for a total amount of $82,781.36 plus one line payment of $1,373.44. And further be it resolved that council approve the June 2025 council indemnities and expenses for a total amount of $3,773.11. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Brown. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried. Be it resolved, 8.3, be it resolved that the unaudited financials for the month of July 2025 be accepted as presented. Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried. Okay, I'm just going to stop there. We're about to go into public hearing.
Four 4.11 is your introduction.
Yeah. I'll read number 4 first. Be it resolved that the meeting be recessed for a scheduled public hearing at 5:05 p.m. on the following matter, conditional use 006-25-C. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Brown. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. So the purpose of the public hearing is to receive representations from the applicant and any persons who wish to make them. We will hear first from the applicant, then from those present who wish to make representations, starting with anybody who wants to speak in favor of the proposal. At the end, at the end of the other presentations, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond. At the end of each presentation, the members of council may ask for clarification from the speaker on any fact or issue, but will not enter into a debate. Persons speaking must address the chair, and if they have questions that they think the applicant should answer, they should raise them in the presentation to the chair. The applicant will have the opportunity to respond to questions when the other presentations are finished. This is also not the time to question the members of council. Under the Planning Act, the purpose of the public hearing is for council to receive representations, and a discussion or argument involving members of council is inappropriate. There should be no interruptions while the person is making a presentation, and order must be maintained.
And if you are wishing to speak, please place your name and your contact information down as well.
We've got a pen and a pad of paper up front there for that. Just give me a second here. Which is the next one there, Holly?
I don't know if Brad wants to introduce it or.
This property is located on the southeast corner of First Street and Patricia Avenue on approximately 3.55 acres. This application is conditional use according to Arma Cornwallis zoning bylaw number 166403/2016. This property also falls into the fringe area within the city of Brandon, as agreed upon in the Keystone Plan District Development Plan. The property in question has been notified in the City of Brandon growth strategy as an area of interest for long-term growth of the City of Brandon. The City of Brandon has been notified, and they did provide a response via letter to the Arma Cornwallis Council. I know a request for services was brought up to City of Brandon in January of 2020 and June of 2023. He's present condition use, so I guess that's why we're here.
Okay. Is there the applicant here tonight? Come forward, please. And just
Good afternoon.
record your
I am
name.
Dr. Muhammad Abdullah. I am Secretary of Brandon Islamic Center presenting the application. Thank you very much for the introduction and brief outline of the project. So I'm going to comment a few things about the Brandon Islamic Center. It is a not-for-profit charitable organization registered with the CRA. The organization provides religious, spiritual, educational services, offers scholarships to Brandon School Division, encourages research through sponsorship of Western Manitoba Science Fair. It helps assist immigrants and refugees settle in the area. It has been in contact and assisted the World University Services of Canada, WUSC, through Brandon University to help attract and retain. It also helps attract and retain skilled foreign workers, alleviates hunger in the community through regular sponsorships of Brandon Western Christmas Cheer Registry, and promotes peace and harmony, and is involved in community building through community outreach, open houses, and dialogue. The Islamic Center is a diverse organization with members from more than 25 countries. The community has outgrown the capacity of the current facility at 834 10th Street, Brandon. A bigger facility with a larger place of worship, a community center, a possible school, and a daycare/childcare will better serve the needs of the entire community, not just the Muslim population. It shall help attract and retain skilled workers like doctors, dentists, engineers, professors, nurses, and pharmacists, as well as entrepreneurs in the area. The proposed project, I just want to highlight that the proposed project is an investment in the region with benefit to the Keystone Planning District, Arm of Cornwallis, Arm of Elton, City of Brandon, and the surrounding areas. The proposed project has significant community support, and if I request the council members, I believe they might have done, they have accessed the Brandon Islamic Center website, www.bicmanitoba.ca, and visit the archive sections. And the two most recent letters of recommendation or letters of support that we have got, one is from the Brandon Clinic Medical Corporation. About a year ago, we were here in this council and we requested to get a parcel of land from the Orm of Cornwallis, and we provided the information the Islamic Center is involved in recruitment of doctors. We have provided services to the various clinics, and this letter has been sent to the council for review, and there are a few buzzwords in here to reading between the lines. The doctors that we have recruited have enrolled 4,200 patients. 4,200 patients from the Family Doctor Finder wait list. This is a wait list, to my understanding, is by the government of Manitoba. It's a provincial site. You go, the patients who don't have a doctor, they go there and find their doctor and get registered. So 4,200. That is not the end of the story. The doctors that we work with and try to recruit, 2 of them, an orthopedic surgeon and a radiologist. They could not get a job here in Brandon. We forwarded their resumes to the concerned official in Northern Health, and their applications have been approved. The LMIA has been approved. They are in the process of getting the work permit, and they're going to provide services to the community in Northern Health. So Brandon Islamic Center cannot be regarded as a local organization. The services provided by the organizations have provincial impact. And I was speaking to the orthopedic surgeon, and this is what he told me from his conversation with the Northern Health. The amount of money and the funds and the finances spent by the health region to airlift or take patients with trauma from the Northern Health to Winnipeg is tremendous. I don't have the exact figure, but I believe it is in millions per year. So if you have an orthopedic surgeon there, and you have somebody who can interpret your radiology, CT scan, MRIs on the site there, the benefit to the province of Manitoba is in millions. Having said that, very recently, I'm very glad to inform you that a day or 2 days ago, we get a good letter of support from our local MLA, Brandon East. He is also the minister, Honorable Minister Glenn Simard, and his letter very clearly highlights the contribution of the community in the medical field, in alleviating poverty and alleviating hunger. He mentioned about the Brandon Western Christmas Cheers Registry, the Brandon School Division. All the documents are there. These are not documents from individuals. These are documents by organizations. There might be some concerns about our project, and it is up to the council to please ask for any questions for clarification, but I'm just going to give one example. An agriculture parcel of land, okay, AG 80, to address the needs of the community, the city of Brandon in July 2025 approved conversion from agriculture to educational institutional to help build a school. And since the infrastructure was going in there, they also approved the RLD zoning of 10 units there as well. Okay, so to allow a place of worship that would have a community center, a daycare to the benefit of the entire community, that will help retain. Recruitment is one thing, but retaining the professionals is another thing that will help retain the professionals. I think the council should most likely favorably consider this application. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
Council have questions for Dr. Abdullah? I do have some questions,
Yes, please.
Dr. Abdullah. First one is about your application. So on the application, you said it was for a place of worship and a community center, but you used the language possibly a school and daycare. So is a school and daycare also in the
Funding. Daycare, we will propose it to, we met with the, the Western YMCA, Mr. Len Cullen. I met with him about 5 years ago. Okay, the daycare would require a significant amount of funding. And if we can get it possibly through the federal government as well, maybe provincial government, yes, we will do that.
Okay, so, but as of right now, it's,
Possible.
and
all of these, place of worship, community center, daycare, and a possible school, for example, they are all conditional uses on this specific property.
my other question is regarding some of the letters that we've received in support of your center. Some people are using different language, so there's a school, a gymnasium, and a library as well?
When you have a community center, we might have a small area, say specifically for the women, dedicated for them. So this is in detail that has to follow later on. If we have a conditional use application that is approved, we can go and talk to engineers and we can go and talk to the architects and plan the building in such a way that will have, say, for example, a 20 by 20 gymnasium, 20 feet by 20 feet. Maybe a 20 feet by 20 feet area of library in there. If we have a school, we need to have a small library as well for the kids. All right.
Yeah.
But all of this depends on the funding as well.
Gotcha. My next question is in regards to support from the city of Brandon. And specifically, so the city, we received a letter from them. They basically, what are your plans for providing your own water and sewer services? Because the city has indicated in a letter that they are at capacity and there is no plan for additional improvements identified in their 20-year capital plan to extend services further south of Brandon.
All right. We have discussed this in detail, and I think it can be better discussed in camera meeting with the city officials present. We met with Mr. Mark Allard, City of Brandon, Mr. Mark Chapin, City of Brandon, Ms. Sonika Tembo, City of Brandon, on February 22nd, 2024. We had our engineer Phil Dawn of Samson Engineering with us, and the board members, including myself, Samantha Pascal Ahmed, Mr. Dow, he was there, and there were two more members who were not here. And in that meeting, we answered each and every question about the capacity as well. And if I give you an example, forget the engineering words, let's talk about LMN. The current Islamic Center water capacity is less than utility, is less than the utility of my home where I live in Brandon. We might have so many people, we told them all of these things. There is nobody's taking shower there, nobody's doing dishes there, nobody's doing their laundry there. They come and they drink some water, for instance. Can we accommodate one house there? And I request, if this is a concern, we have concerns about the input provided by the city. It should be discussed in camera meeting with the city officials present, our engineer present, and the council members present, and we can bring it up in detail in that situation. Having said that, are there is, I don't know, but maybe the council members can guide and they can make a decision on that one. Are there any places of worship in Manitoba which are not on the, what you call it, the city and municipal water and sewer system?
Oh, certainly, yeah, there certainly are.
So I think the issue with the city of Brandon can be deferred to the city of Brandon. The council needs to make a decision on its own merits over here in Autumn of Cornwallis.
I'm not a planning guru, so I'll have to refer that to them for whatever their standards or requirements are in terms of meeting capacity requirements and stuff like that. So I can't comment on it.
If you could please allow me, if we have, this is just a conditional use application. This is not a building going on site, okay? To put a building on site, the requirements are, the city inspector is here, the requirements are that you have to have an engineer stamp drawing with the water capacity and everything in there. that will be provided whether through the city or independent of the city. All right, so let us not confuse the two things. The servicing issue is with the city. I request an in-camera meeting if that's a concern for the council here. In my opinion, it should not be a concern because there are other options available to service the property.
How would we accommodate that?
I don't know. So are you saying that, like, we have no sewer and water in Cornwallis? So you might be able to do it privately, like on your own, without a municipal system? Because we don't have one.
I'm okay with that. We have a well on the property. There is at least one well on the property right now. And a septic tank could be installed. I can give you the example of Waverly Masjid, all right? Waverly Masjid, it's a big center in Winnipeg, 2445 Waverly Street. It's a big one. And it was built, I think, in 2000, somewhere around that time frame, 2003, 2002, I don't know exactly. But when I came to Manitoba in 2007, it was there. And up till 2024, I think, it was on their own septic tank and field and on their own well water. So I think, let us not, a request, we should not confuse the city of London letter with this project. It's a request.
Fair enough.
There are other options.
Does anybody on council have any additional questions for Dr. Abdullah? Does anybody present here today have any questions for Dr. Abdullah?
How much land do you actually have?
3.55 acres.
3.55. Are you on this side of First Street or the other side of First Street?
Southeast intersection of First Street and Patricia Avenue.
So are you right next door to 302?
What is the boarding? Yes. Yes. The
You're
boarding.
right next to the boarding kennel,
Yes.
and you only have
55.
and you're planning on putting all this stuff on 3.55 acres.
Yes. We'll
I don't
provide.
see a hope in hell if that's gonna fit all on that,
Okay, leave your comments to questions, please.
okay?
Does anybody else have any questions for Dr. Abdullah?
I don't have any questions, but I have some comments that I would bring to the board at the appropriate time. My name is Robert Fleming.
Robert Fleming? We'll hear your questions.
I don't have
Or
questions.
Comments?
But I have some comments about the site.
Okay, are they for or?
No.
Okay, we'll get to those
Yes.
shortly then. Does anybody else have any questions for?
My name is Shambhu Patel, and I just have a question to him. Is that traffic impact study being provided or not?
I'm sorry, which one?
Traffic impact study.
That would be for the latter. If we have a conditional use, we're going to engage an engineer, architect will be provided. That's the next step, not the first step.
So you would provide a traffic impact study if required or
By the
requested?
Keystone Planning District, if it is a provincial requirement or a municipal requirement, we'll provide it. If it is not a requirement, it will not be provided. It will not be asked for and it will not be provided. And by the way, the access to the property, just want to make it clear, is through First Street. And that First Street is a collector road. It connects the Highway 110 on the south side all the way to Highway 1, Trans-Canada Highway 1 on the north side. So I believe when the province was building this road, they have done their own traffic impact assessment as well.
Do you have another question?
Yeah, what brought you to choose that particular site?
Affordability for the community. We are a charitable organization and close proximity to the city of Brandon. As I mentioned, it is not just, maybe the lady was not here when we started the presentation, the impact of the Brandon Islamic Center. We have these letters from, say, let me show you, from the Brandon Clinic Medical Corporation, our recruitment of doctors, having registered 4,200 patients in Manitoba. So, and the recruitment of doctors that we have done, going to provide services in Northern Health. It is not the work done by the Islamic Center is not just local to a specific street or a specific town that has provincial impact. And it needs to be appreciated and acknowledged.
So there's quite a bit of land to the back of your property that's for sale.
You know what? I think this is irrelevant.
Yeah,
This
that's,
is irrelevant.
okay, yeah. Okay, does anybody have any additional questions for Dr. Abdullah? Okay, thank you, Dr. Abdullah.
Thank you so much. And if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Sure.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else here present who would like to speak in favor of the application? Please come forward and state your name.
My name is Dr. Selam Yunus. I'm the medical director in Brandon Regional Health Center in the Diagnostic Imaging Department in Nuclear Medicine Division. I moved here since 2013 to Brandon, and my wife, she's a pathologist. She's a physician working in the Brandon Regional Health Center.
Can you get him to speak up? We can't hear him.
Okay. My name is Dr. Selam Yunus. I'm the medical director in Nuclear Medicine Department in Brandon Regional Health Facility. My wife, she's Dr. Arish Shibani. She's a pathologist specialist in Brandon Regional Health Center. Both of us, we have 2 to 3 fellowship after we did our residency training in Canada here. I go and help in Winnipeg as well some days. I moved here in 2013. When I moved here, I moved because I found a small Brandon Islamic Center, because we needed to help the communities here, but also we need a place where we can have a small place to worship so we can be engaged in the community and practice our religion. Over the last 13 years, I have been contacted from different places to move, but I decided to stay here and help the community with my wife and our 3 kids. We are desperately looking for a place so we can build a place of worship, and we be engaged with the community members here from different culture, different diversity. And the reason that we are here, one of the main reasons, the nice people, the good culture, and the possible opportunity to have a small place to have a worship here and grow in this community. Our main object that we can have something like any other religion here in the city, so we can be engaged and be more beneficial to the city, to the region, and to the province. That's what I wanted to comment. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you.
Can we get you to write your name on that paper?
And your contact information. But I think we have a letter from
Yes.
you.
Yeah. Is there anybody else who would like to speak in favor of the application? Come forward.
I will keep it quite brief because I know so many people here. So such a grand facility with the vision, I am quite impressed. I want to congratulate the Brandon Islamic community, that is a non-profit organization, to come up with such a good facility for our region, people and every community, irrespective of all barriers or all inclusive communities that will be beneficial from whatever they have come up with the project. So I wholeheartedly support it and appreciate that.
And Dr. Abdullah, I'd just like to acknowledge too that we are in receipt of several letters as well as a petition that you have forwarded as well.
Potentially becoming a place.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other?
Is there anybody here who would like to speak in opposition of the application? Come forward and state your name.
Hi, Council. I'm Kenneth Magrigo. I'm the lawyer for a numbered company that is an owner of a neighboring property of the conditional use application. So the numbered company is 102-10905, Manitoba Incorporated. And I'm appearing against the proposed development of place of worship on property currently zoned as the AG Center. Just right in here. My client is not questioning the benefit that the Islamic Center has brought the city of Brandon and the area of Cornwallis. We are happy that they have done it. They have brought in medical directors, nurses, and everyone like that. However, our position is not about religion or the faith of the applicant or the applicants. Our arguments today are grounded strictly in objective, neutral planning principles and the lawful protections for agricultural enshrined in rural municipalities development plan, the zoning bylaw, and the Manitoba Planning Act. If you look at the Manitoba Municipal Planning Guide to Zoning Bylaws in Manitoba, you will see there the conditional use list in page B11. The Manitoba Planning Guide to Zoning Bylaws in Manitoba is found online. And you will see there the conditional uses are only given to livestock operation, dwelling, single units, agribusiness, mining and extraction, public works facility. Institutions like the worship centers, libraries, childcare do not fit any of the other conditional uses that are indicated in the bylaws in Manitoba when it comes to planning guide under the agricultural general zone. So why does this matter? AG zones or agricultural zones exist to protect a finite irreplaceable resource, which is a farmland, from conversion and fragmentation. The intent is to preserve agricultural operations from incompatible non-farm uses and prevent conflicts, cumulative encroachment, and loss of productive soil. By maintaining these zones, we support local food systems, promote sustainable farming practices, and ensure the long-term viability of agriculture as a crucial part of our economy and our culture. The area that is being proposed for the worship center is an AG or an agricultural general zone. And the applicant here would like to change that to a commercial for a worship zone that will invite a lot of people and will change the landscape of that area. Once a non-farm use is approved in the AG zone, there is what we call a precedent creep. This is nearly inevitable. The municipality has the duty to consider cumulative impacts, not just singular proposals, to avoid incremental urbanization and loss of agricultural land. Approving non-farm uses can lead to increased noise pollution, disrupting the rural character of the area, and affecting the quality of life for existing residents and farmers. Traffic congestion is likely to rise with additional developments, creating safety concerns and potential hazards for both vehicles and pedestrians. As what Dr. Abdullah said, if it's not required, they're not going to do a traffic study or a traffic monitor or something like that. But in our perspective, traffic here is inevitable because if you are creating an institution where you're inviting a lot of people, then definitely traffic will be increased. Increased traffic can also strain local road infrastructure, leading to higher maintenance costs for the municipality and reduce access to essential services for agricultural operations. The overall ecosystem may suffer as more land is converted to farm uses, impacting wildlife habitats and natural resources essential for sustainable farming practices. AG zones infrastructure is not built for high traffic, event-based land uses. and increased vehicles will strain gravel roads, increase dust, create safety hazards, and escalate municipal maintenance costs. Parking, lighting, and crowd management pose additional risks with no offsetting investment by the applicant. The lack of proper drainage systems may lead to flooding and erosion, further damaging roadways and adjacent properties. Earlier, Dr. Abdul had said that the council should not be concerned with the issues raised by the city of Brandon. The applicant wants the council to decide on the matter raised by the city of Brandon regarding the sewer and water issue. But the city of Brandon is an essential party and that the council should consider the concern raised by the city themselves. If the city of Brandon is raising that they're at the capacity, then the council should consider that heavily. And the council should not disregard the issues raised by the city. The lack of proper drainage systems will cause or will invite for an increased cost to the city and the municipality. The potential for increased traffic accidents in rural areas due to inadequate signage and lack of traffic control measures also raises serious concerns. And putting up adequate signages, traffic control measures, stoplights will also increase the costs to the city or to the RM. For the establishment of a religious center in agricultural zone, my client is concerned that can lead to perceived intrusion in the rural character of the area, causing potential buyers to question the suitability of the location of traditional agricultural activities. What my client is concerned also is the value of the property surrounding the area. If there is an Islamic center or a religious center put up there, he is concerned that the religious center's compatibility with farming practices may deter interest from investors as they might see it as a disruption to the established agricultural landscape. The increased traffic and associated activities with a religious center can create noise and visual distractions that may make the surrounding agricultural properties less appealing, ultimately reducing their market value. Local perceptions regarding the impact of the religious center on community dynamics may foster reluctance among potential buyers, as they may fear that the center could change the cultural fabric of the area, thus influencing their investment decisions. A rise in non-agricultural development related to a religious center can lead to a speculation and uncertainty in the agricultural area or the agricultural real estate market, causing land values to fluctuate unpredictably. As neighbors of the proposed building, they express concerns about potential changes in the rural lifestyle and land use patterns due to the presence of a religious center. Existing agricultural properties or the properties around the area might be viewed as less desirable, further driving down property values. Additionally, the potential for increasing political and social tensions surrounding the religious center could create an unstable environment that the investors typically shy away from, thereby adversely affecting the overall perception and the value of agricultural properties in the vicinity. We've already raised the drainage issues and the environmental issues that the putting up of worship centers will cause. This will increase runoff, alters drainage, and may negatively impact the productivity and integrity of the surrounding agricultural lands. We recognize and respect the right of Brandon Islamic Center and its members to practice their faith. However, charter rights are not absolute. Municipalities are permitted and indeed required to balance individual rights against the right of legitimate community planning objectives when land use is in question. We are not basing our position on faith or discrimination. This case is about the protection of agricultural land for the benefit of everybody. The same denial would issue any proposal of any faith or secular character. No one is being prevented from practicing their religion, only one from doing so on land fundamentally designed for another critical public purpose, which is agriculture. So we ask the council to deny the conditional use application. And as we've said, this is not an opposition to faith. but preservation of our community's agricultural character, community, and the rights of all who rely on the land for their livelihood. Thank you for your time and careful consideration. That will be our submission.
Do you have copies of that you can give to the CAO?
My submission?
Yeah.
I can clean it up. There's a lot of notes there, but I can definitely submit that to you.
Okay, and Dr. Abdullah, would you like to respond to any of his comments?
You have to come here.
Yes.
And I don't know if you want to say this or Brad wants to say it, but it is a conditional use in our
Yes.
zoning bylaw,
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
in our Ag 80 zone.
right.
It is
So
listed as that.
It's an allowable condition.
It's a conditional use.
Yes, but in the planning guiding zone or the bylaws provided, it doesn't show that.
Our bylaw does, though. Our zoning bylaw does.
We can consider.
So a few comments. First off, I thank you, Ms. Holly Crespo, for confirming the bylaws, that it is something that is permissible. The Autumn of Cornwall's bylaws can allow the conditional use for agriculture zone into what you call a place of worship, community center, childcare, daycare, or a school. Thank you very much. So that is the legal component that is out. Regarding a few comments about the property price and stuff like that, I think it might be regarded as stereotype thinking rather than having any specific concrete background to it. I hope the council is aware of the diversity of Brandon, diversity of Canada. We host people from more than 25 countries. If I have to name a few, Singapore, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. The people from Afghanistan, I asked them, how did you come to Brandon? And they say, we came by invitation. And that is something totally new. I thought they come as refugees. They said, no, we came, they invited us, the federal government, to come to Canada. And I said, how come? And they say, we serve beside Canadian armed forces in Afghanistan. Okay. So I think the council is aware of the, what you call it, the diversity of Canada. And I don't think there is any room for any stereotypes. If there is anything that is of legal concern, I believe the CEO has answered that one. It's permissible under the current Autumn of Cornwall's bylaws to allow conditional use in AG80 and the facilities that listed childcare, daycare, place of worship, community center, that is all permissible under conditional use. So this is written in the Autumn of Cornwall's bylaws.
So
Can I raise a point?
Please, if I can complete.
Yeah, because the chair did not confirm that it has already passed the legal. Their bylaws say that worship institutions is part of the conditional uses, but it doesn't show, or the council is not saying that it will be allowed.
Yeah, it's
So
not a
legal-
permittable
Yes, yes,
use.
yes.
It's not permittable, it's conditional, meaning
Yes,
we're
yes.
here to decide. It's
Yes.
up to council to make that decision
Yes.
based upon the application and the representations for and against.
And that's why it's a public hearing, so we could hear the pros and
And
the
the cons.
cons and the
Okay.
against, yes.
So let's go back to that one. So people from all around the world, people who serve beside the Canadian Armed Forces, doctors, engineers coming in here, recruitment and retention, and the letters of support we have got already. Regarding the traffic flow, I think we already answered that one. It's a collector road. It is not a small gravel municipal road. Even before we built a place of worship on that one, this road is used on a daily basis by trucks. Okay? And the impact of, say, for example, the traffic is a very small organization compared to if you go a bit further north.
You've already confirmed that, Dr. Abidullah. You said that you would do a traffic impact study if that was part of the conditions.
if
So-
it was required.
Yes, yeah, you've already confirmed that.
So I would just like to raise one of the arguments put up by Dr. Abdullah here. And he's saying that we are putting forth a stereotypical argument against the religious worship. We're not. We do not care about the diversity. We do not care about the issues on what you've raised. What we're saying is that the worship center is incompatible in that area because it's an AG zone. And changing it will change the landscape of that area. It will change the values.
You've already made that argument, yeah.
Exactly. And we just do not want
Okay.
him to impress the council that we are, promoting stereotypes against people of
I
color.
understand that, yeah.
So the land is 3.55 acres. It is not cultivated at present. It is not used for any livestock operations. All right? What is the negative impact of it? The land sitting there, I bought it in 2019, 2018, 19 for 6-7 years. No agricultural activity, no livestock stock activity. Before me, it was owned by a lady, Donna Porter. She lives in Winnipeg. At least she lived in Winnipeg back then. And she was not doing anything with this property. And I asked, why do you want to sell it? She said, it is sitting there. I'm not cultivating it. I'm not doing anything with it. And it is costing me tax, the dollars in tax money. All right. So the negative impact on agriculture is zero. The negative impact on livestock is zero.
I'm just gonna ask a question of Brad, our planning. The CDA has identified this as being part of the fringe.
Yes, correct.
So what does that mean?
They review the application and then they have their say of opposition or support for this project as well. And that was in a letter that council received from the city of Brandon.
I would just like to respond to what Dr. Abdullah said, that the impact is zero. His argument is baseless. He doesn't have any evidence, he doesn't have any foundation on that. So he cannot use that as an argument for his application in this matter. Even if there is no current use for the property, the zone is indicated as an agricultural zone. We don't know if he purchased the property before and not worked on it, and then use this as an argument to put up a worship center. But the use is the use for an agricultural zone. The zone, the AG zone will not change its character simply because there's no livestock, there's no farming currently happening there. It will not change that. So what Dr. Abdullah is saying, it's rebuttable and it lacks a foundation.
No comments.
That would just be nice.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from me?
No, I have no questions. Does council have any additional questions?
Any questions from me?
Is anybody else here which is
Oh,
speak?
sorry, Terry,
You have a question?
I have a mute on there. Yeah, I just wanted to know, the gentleman, the lawyer, where was he from again, sorry?
Donald and Hill Law Office.
And you're representing someone in particular, or just you live out there, or?
A numbered company.
A numbered company that owns a
Oh,
property
yeah.
adjacent to the conditional use.
Okay, thanks.
How many neighbors, like according to the Keystone Planning District and arm of Cornwall's bylaw, the neighbors within 100 meters will be notified and to come up with objections or anything in favor or objection of that. So I wonder if I did a math and calculation, there are 6 neighbors, 2 to the east of the property. One is the Kennel Club, it's a home with a home-based business. And another one is a bakery, Courtney Bakery, that's a home with a home-based business. So 2 of them, I wondered if any 2 of them come here. The tree on the east side of First Street. I think the attorney might be representing that gentleman, that Manitoba company, that is at the southwest corner of First and Petition. I had a chance to speak with the neighbor immediately to the south of that one, to this property. I have only his first name, Mr. Angry, and he said, I wish you good luck, and I have no objection. I went to another neighbor that is for the south of that one, and the gentleman who resides there is McLeod. What's his name? First name, Gary McLeod, I think.
I was gonna say, Dr. Abdullah, we don't need to go through
Is
all of
that-
that right now. We know who was
Is he a
contacted.
neighbor?
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. So at least, yes.
Sorry, Terry, just to clarify that 100 meters is the minimum under the Planning Act. They can actually spread that further if they wanted to.
For who to contact.
And I would also like to add,
KPE can go further, I believe, and the province can go further to contact more neighbors if they desire.
It was
The minimum is
advertised,
100 meters, I believe.
it was advertised
Brad,
100 meters
come
around
on.
the property, and signs were posted on those streets. Because there were a couple addresses with the city of Brandon, which I couldn't get names for, so it was advertised on property as well.
I have it here.
and I would also like to add that standing will never be an issue for a public hearing like this. So even if the person doesn't have standing, he can raise an objection as long as he can prove that he is.
I'm aware of that. Does anybody else who would like to speak in opposition of the, come forward, please, and state your name. Just write your name on that piece of paper with your address and contact information. Is time an issue?
We do have another hearing, but
On the next hearing, and I am in no hurry, I want to hear this out. Okay, my name is Robert Fleming. I have brought a copy of my comments. We have some thoughts and concerns regarding the plan. The presentation was not advertised to ensure all interested or concerned parties would be informed as to when and where it would be discussed. I think that they made an effort to exclude people rather than include people in this. There should have been a notice sent giving the information on how and where persons interested voice their concerns verbally or in writing, both for and against this plan. The small notice posted to a stick at an entrance to the property was definitely not adequate. It wasn't even as big as this, and it was weather beaten, and I just happened to drive by and see it. It's very apprehensive on my part, but I think we should have made a bigger effort. We live a mile and a half south of this property and use First Street as our main access to our mail and the city. The intent that the Keystone Development staffer told us about was unclear. It could be a church, possibly a daycare, or maybe a school. The person wants approval for something and it appears will say anything to get council approval. That person should have given us the kind of information that the people applying gave us today. There was no information really available except some average comments. As a ratepayer on a rural residential site, the approval should be based on a plan that the applicant must be committed to and which is not delivered, would take the property back to rural residential status with allowance for a commercial application that matches the neighboring properties. I'm not convinced that this application matches the nature of the subdivisions within our municipality in that area. This site, in our opinion, should only be accessed via Patricia Street due to safety concerns of having more vehicle traffic enter First Street at this location. The super boxes for Canada Post were moved from location along this property due to traffic safety concerns a few years back. There will be required access to First Street from properties south of this location in the future, and they have no other options but are above the hill, which gets icy in the winter. Posting no parking, no stopping along First Street would be appropriate, and that has been demonstrated by the school division just about a half a mile, almost a mile, to the north of this location, because students and parents and people at large don't seem to understand the methods needed for safely ingressing and egressing a vehicle that is stopped on the side of the road. And by the way, on First Street, in this location, there is no shoulder. You basically drive off the pavement and drive into the ditch. The development of this site for any use other than rural residential with limited commercial use will put a strain on well water, septic recovery for this site and others in the near vicinity. And I think that has been identified for some years in this location by the amount of pumping and unnecessary water movements that have been made and flooding of people in that area. So that needs to be very clearly addressed. I think the proposal is rather unspecific, and if the developer is committed to it, they need to take that proposal to the city. I'm sure there are areas within the city of Brandon where infrastructure and safety are already provided. They do not need to put this in the RM simply because I think the comment was it's cheaper. Not a good way of going about it. So I'm not in favor of this as presented. It's contrary to the proper orderly development of that area of the municipality. And orderly development should be the watchword. And with that, I'll end my comments.
Thank you. Dr. Abdullah, would you like to respond?
Thank you very much for the comments. Appreciate it. Regarding the no parking and stuff, the parking issues, the drawing that gets submitted, we have parking for about, I sent an email today, maybe 20 something parking spots there. Ample parking. We are not going to expect, if you go to the city of Brandon bylaw, you have for places of worship or community centers, I say places of worship, per 5 attendants, 1 vehicle. All right. So if you say we have 125 multiplied by 5, 625. We don't have that many people coming in there. All right. So the parking has been thoroughly addressed in the preliminary drawing. And if there are any concerns, once again, we need to understand the steps in here. It's a not-for-profit charitable organization run by donations. We discussed in our board meeting how to proceed further. And the consensus was, if we get a conditional use approved, we go and provide in-depth, thorough engineering surveys to the council for approval. So before building it, there will be that thing done irrespective whether it's a house or it's a place of worship. This council would require that thing, and it will be provided. So that's one thing. The other thing, I think there might be a little bit of misunderstanding in there. Access to the property is not through Patricia Avenue. There is no access through the Patricia Avenue. The access is through First Street. So that's about what you call it, the impact on the neighbors, about the traffic and stuff. There is nothing like that. Regarding the flooding in the area, it is slope there, but as mentioned, if you don't get the city sewer is just at the intersection of First and Patricia Avenue. That is at the southwest corner of First and Patricia. They just put the new sewer lines coming in and then headed north on First Street towards the, what you call it, the lift station, right? So that's another thing for the engineers. If the sewer or the water is a concern, there is a possibility that the engineer may say, okay, the city may say, we don't have the water to give you. Okay, that's okay. But if you can get hooked up to the sewer lines, for instance, that is doable. And once again, that is for discussion with the city. I think a place of worship, whether it's a masjid, or it's a church, or it's a temple, all right? It is a place of worship. And this is a very significant, rather basic component of the lives of millions and millions of people across the globe. I would say billions of people. Put it this way, all these immigrants coming in here, I'm coming back to the very preliminary statement. This is an investment in the Keystone Planning District. If the council thinks the benefits of this project are going to outweigh the concerns raised by some of the community members, all right, you need to negotiate. It's not going to be 100%. Somebody may be, what you call it, objecting to it, but it is not going to be 100% in the other direction either. So there are pros and cons, and we need to evaluate if the, what you call it, the net benefit of this project would serve the entire community, yes or no, and that could be a reason for the voting on this one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else here who would like to speak in opposition of the application? Council have any?
Just have one comment. I heard a statement clearly about 3.4 acre, how we're gonna do all that, gymnastic and other stuff. Then I heard a statement about you can find other places in the city if you want to do that. These are two controversial statements, because if you want to do a good religious place and you do a good gymnastic, and I will give you an example like Waverly Mosque in Winnipeg, they have a big gymnastic and they use that gymnastic as a daycare during the day, and during evening time they use it for. So a good place you will not find within the border of the city. If you do all those facilities, you need a space like what the lady said. And 3.4 acres, maybe that's the good reasonable size, which you will not find within the borders of inside the city. Parking was also answered and all the questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think we should make sure that the city of Brandon's points are read, because I don't think we talked about the active transportation.
Okay. So,
And of course, that we can say once again about the sewer and water.
so the servicing of traffic and the active transportation.
Mhm.
I'm just going to read a letter we received on July 30th from the city of Brandon. The city of Brandon received your application for a place of worship, community center, daycare, and school. The site is located in the Urban Expansion Area 1 within the Fringe Growth Area as shown in Map 2 of the City of Brandon's City Plan. The city does not object to the proposed community services. The city does not object to the proposed community service uses, but notes the following consideration. First, regarding servicing, the city currently faces water and sewer capacity limitations for development within city limits in this area, and no improvements have been identified in the 20-year capital plan to extend services further south. Approval of the conditional use should include conditions for the applicant to provide servicing independent of the city's network. Then the next point regarding traffic. The intensity of the use proposed will impact adjacent transportation networks. As per the city plan fringe area policy 6.6A, a traffic impact study should be included as a condition of approval to access impacts to boundary infrastructure, including First Street and the First Street and Patricia Avenue intersection. And then finally, regarding active transportation, the city has multi-use pathways connected to the First Street and Patricia Avenue intersection. The Keystone Planning District may want to consider a condition of approval to address active transportation connectivity to this site. Okay, so be it resolved, the public hearing be closed at 6:06 PM and we return to the meeting. Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question, all in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. All right. Be it resolved that the meeting be recessed for a scheduled public hearing on the following matter, conditional use -007-25-C and variance order -007-25-C, variance order -008-25C and variance order 009-25C. Somebody want to motion that? Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Brown. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. Can we ask that you, if you're leaving, just leave quietly, please?
I don't, I wouldn't think so. Oh, you got ball.
It's just a subdivision.
Yeah.
It's just non-farmers.
There's Mr. Flanagan.
Okay. That, I just want to make sure. I didn't really get a chance to read that one Ray Rudani objection. I thought that that was who that was, but
He wrote his name down.
I'll grab them.
So we are here to deal with the public hearing, initial use and variance order. And you are speaking for the applicant.
Correct.
State your name, please.
My name is Derek Cullen. I'm a lawyer for Gerald Brown and the member company applicant 504-7847 Manitoba LTD. I expect the application is fairly straightforward, but I thought I would attend. Before I do, I just want to comment on the last one without saying anything for or against. Many of those people are my clients. They didn't ask me to come. I just happened to see them here. They are invariably looking for a decade for a place to call their own. And I hear the same story from every one of them. Some of them are doctors, some of my friends, some of my clients. I'm not saying this property is suitable for it or not, but they are hardworking people who deserve a home, just like the Church of Latter-day Saints at the corner of my street, just like every other place of worship. And as I walk and drive through southern Manitoba, there is a tiny church on every Ag 80 zone that I can think of. So the fact that they're incompatible just isn't correct. Those are my comments on that. But to the present one, I'm just here to answer any questions you might have. I don't expect there's many or any.
Does the council have any questions for the applicant?
Not really, it's just basically the whole yard site that
Correct.
is taken up.
It's two 80-acre parcels, and then ours and the yard sites kind of straddles two of them.
Yeah.
And they hope to subdivide it, possibly for family, possibly for farmhands, possibly for else. We've gone through all the other approvals necessary except for council's blessings. That's why we're here.
I don't have any questions. Does anybody in the audience want to speak in opposition of the application?
Nobody left.
No?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I think that answers that. No additional questions from council. Be it resolved that the public hearing be closed at 6:11 PM and we return to the meeting. Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried unanimously. Thanks, Mr. Cohen.
Thank you. I'm just gonna hang out for a minute.
Okay. And there's nothing in 4.3 for you. Do I?
It's just a delegation.
Oh, it's
Yeah, we're
Oh,
just here
so
to
the
hear
public
them. There's
hearing-
no hearing at all.
Public
Yeah.
hearing is closed, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So we now have a delegation. It was supposed to be scheduled for 5:30, sorry it's late. So come forward, state your name, and you have 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. Tim Longstaff, I'm the Manitoba Land Surveyor. Mr. Buer asked me to come and speak on his behalf regarding a subdivision in Northeast 32-1019. It came before your council last month and you approved a resolution in favor of the subdivision with 5 conditions on your resolution, 2 being a traffic impact study and a drainage plan to be prepared, which were also, I believe, suggested or required by MTI. So the request would be that council consider having those 2 conditions addressed under the development plan rather than as conditions of the subdivision.
Development plan, development agreement.
Development agreement, my
Okay.
apologies. The development agreement. I don't believe there's any intent to avoid the obligation or not fulfill the requirements of MTI, simply to allow the subdivision itself to move along more smoothly at this time, delaying till full knowledge of the development was understood would also help the 2 plans provide relevant information, more relevant information to the conditions at hand when development gets further along. So I've also been in discussion with MTI as far as their conditions on the subdivision, which are the same as you've listed in D and E of your resolution in July. And again, the request would just be that you consider allowing them to be addressed under the development agreement rather than as conditions of subdivision approval, so that the subdivision can go ahead and just allow the next phase to move in more smoothly.
What did MTI say to that?
They have not responded one way or the other. They're reviewing it, and they didn't say no, is what I can say at this moment. So that I took to be a positive step.
So you asked MTI about the condition, but not community planning, because the condition comes from MTI to community planning?
That's right. It's MTI's condition, and community planning can only enforce the condition that as they've supplied it. So community planning really all community planning can say is this is what MTI requires on that subject.
Because but it is a condition of their approval as well as ours.
Yes, you've got the same condition on your resolution from last month. So that's about all I believe I have on the subject. Just ask the council to consider that.
Council, have any questions from Mr. Longstaff? Sure.
Okay, so in order for us to do this, reconsideration, we have to make notice of motion that we will be bringing forward a new motion to reconsider
Okay,
our previous decision on July.
right.
And I'm doing that I'm making that notice of motion now.
Okay.
It will be recorded in our minute.
Okay.
And we would expect that there will be a motion on the next regular meeting, which is September 2nd, to review or make changes.
Okay.
Possibly.
Perfect.
But we have some discussion to do, so we have to.
Yeah.
Do that.
So once we've made a decision, we can't just change it.
Of course.
We are required to give notice of motion.
Yeah.
In a written form from one regular meeting to the next. So
Right.
if we were to reconsider those decisions, that can only be done at the following meeting. It cannot be done at this meeting.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll just speak for 1 minute, if that's okay with you, okay? All right.
Probably still good time to do that.
What's that?
Can I speak for 2 minutes? I just want that. Well, they're Raven Council, and I can't remember your name, sorry, Holly, right? Oh, Holly, yes, of course, okay. So anyway, there you are, Ed, you got, I know you all know Bobby, Mr. Ross. Okay, so I guess, once again, we really have to try to get this title severed because we can't, we've got in a couple of investors that are starting to get a little nervous. And, it's been a long time, since, so I mean, we'll speed this up immensely. Once we get the title severed, well, let's sit down, do the developer agreement, work everything out, hash everything out. Drainage plans and all that is definitely part of the development. Every one I've ever done, I got no problem. I know the drill, but we need to get the title severed so that we can get our money out of, from the investors and stuff, release the funds and move forward. And once that title is severed, once we get the title severed, the only part we're looking at developing too is just a little 12.5 acre corner in the northeast part, like right just west of Hunter Road. So we're not developing any of the rest, and the way that is kind of loosely written drainage, it's, we don't know what we're doing with the rest of the land. So it could be a total different traffic, or a total different traffic count. It could be a total different, drainage plan that we will require later. So once we get this 12.5 acre parcel, then we'll base everything on that 12.5 acre parcel, the drainage plan, the traffic impact study, all that. And then later, obviously, if we start developing any of the other lands, we'll have to probably go through that process again. So it just seems so, difficult to try to, any of the guys I talk to, planners in Winnipeg and that, and traffic study guys are telling me, you're just throwing your money away. Like, this is not the way this, you need to come to us when you get the title, when you know exactly what you're building there on the 12.5 acres, which we do. That's the facility that we had talked about, of course, at previous meetings and stuff. You guys have everything on that, I believe. So once we get that going on that, then we can do the development plan right away as soon as we get the title severed.
Well, you've heard what our process is.
Yeah. So hopefully in 2 weeks, you guys, or in a month or whatever, you guys make the right decision that'll really help us, I hope. To get this done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting the motion forward and everything. Thanks.
So be it resolved that council accepts the May to July 2025 permits report from the Keystone Planning District as submitted.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Brown.
I would like to comment that I like the report in its current form. It's giving us more information than we're getting.
Yeah.
It makes it, at least you know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Call for the question, all in favor?
Aye.
That's carried.
Do we have to accept the delegate?
We already did. No, I don't think there's anything to motion.
8.4, I think, Terry.
8.4 is where we're at? Yeah, I think you're right. Be it resolved that the July 2025 bank reconciliation for the general reserves and utility accounts be accepted as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councillor Drohan, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried. Okay. 9.1, be it resolved, the bylaw 1740-07-2025, being a bylaw to amend the rural municipality of Cornwallis zoning bylaw number 1664-03-2016 for Southeast 171019 West be hereby read a first time.
Motion?
Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Yeah, that was just the first reading. Be resolved, bylaw 1729-2024B, being a bylaw to amend the heavy truck route bylaw 1729-2024, which classifies vehicle according to weight and for prescribing routes of travel within the municipality, be hereby read a first time. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Brown. Call for the question, all in favor? And that's
Aye.
carried. Be it resolved that council forgive the Keystone Planning District conditional use application fee for Blaine Roque for a second application for a wholesale vehicle dealership in the Ag 80 zone due to exceptional circumstances of the applicant for the first conditional use 002-25-C application.
Motion?
Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Any discussion on?
Well, just, I guess, there was some items that we needed to hear about and we didn't hear about it. And there were some other things going on that were out of our control, so this would be the right thing to do to let him file again, but we'll waive his fee.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment, I'm going to vote for it, but I'm disappointed we had to get to this because we as a council make our decision based on the information we receive, and we receive no information. It's hard to make a decision, so there are some questions we have, and I'd like to see those asked, so we will at the next.
100%. Okay, call for the question, all in favor? And that's
Aye.
carried. 11.1. Whereas the bridge on Road 102 West over the Little Souris River north of Road 49 North at the northern terminus of Road 102 West, before entering a private field, was closed immediately for public safety on the recommendation of an engineer who initially observed its very poor condition, specifically deterioration in the foundation timbers, timber piles, and very severe rot on numerous deck planks. Therefore, be it resolved that council accepts Stantec engineer Eric Trancotta's follow-up written assessment letter on the bridge. And whereas repair of the bridge is not an option and the estimated replacement cost is $1.8 million to $2 million for a bridge that provides access to one property, which has the alternative of a nearby low-level crossing access is not reasonable. Therefore, be it further resolved that council close the said bridge permanently. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Brown. Any discussion?
I was under the bridge, if you will. I went there and looked at it myself. It is definitely beyond repair. And yeah, it's just too expensive to replace at that cost. So I agree with this. And
I was surprised to read that the engineering alone was $350,000. So yeah, 1.8 to $2 million is quite an expense.
As long as there's another access to it, yeah, it's a better thing to do than get closed.
Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried. Whereas the applicant, Mian Haddad, LLP, and landowner 5047847, Manitoba Limited, of the property legally described as Northwest and Southwest 26919, 52085, Provincial Trunk Highway 10, roll number 50500 and 50800, applied for a conditional use order under Part 5, Table 5-2 of the Cornwallis zoning bylaw number 1664-03-2016 as amended to allow for a non-farm dwelling in the Ag 80 zone by way of subdivision. And whereas after careful consideration of the application and any representations made for and against, council approves said application conditional use -007-25-C. Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Maxwell.
I just want to state no relation.
No relation, okay. Call for the question, all in favor? I haven't heard from you, Councillor Drohan.
Oh, okay. I'm out of sync with your video. I'm looking at videos on YouTube and thing at the same time, so I don't know what's obviously but
We just voted on the 11.2 on the agenda.
yeah, the non-farm dwelling, a subdivision. Yeah, I will get to it. Yeah.
Okay. 11.2. That's not the same one. You have to do the variation order now? Holly?
Yeah, because they're for the same one, but they're 3 different variations.
Oh, yes, they are. Okay, whereas the applicant, Mian Haddad, LLP, and landowner 5047847, Manitoba Limited, of the property legally described as Northwest 26918, 52085, Provincial Trunk Highway 10, roll number 50500, applied to vary the application of the Cornwallis Municipal Zoning Bylaw number 1664-03-2016 as amended under Part 5, Table 5-2 in order to reduce the site area in the Ag 80 Agricultural General Zone from 80 acres to 75.61. And whereas after careful consideration of the application and any representations made for or against the variation sought by the applicant, council approves the said variation order 007-25-C. Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's approved. Whereas the applicant, Mian Haddad, LLP, and landowner 5047847, Manitoba Limited, of the property legally described as Southwest 26918, roll number 50800, applied to vary the application of the Cornwallis Municipal Zoning Bylaw number 1664-03-2016 as amended under Part 5, Table 5-2 in order to reduce the minimum site area in the Ag 80 Agriculture Zone from 80 acres to 77.91 acres. And whereas after careful consideration of the application and the representations made for or against the variations sought by the application, council approves said variation order -008-25-C. Motion by Councillor Maxwell. And seconded by Councillor Brown. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Whereas the application, Mian Haddad, LLP, and landowner 5047847, Manitoba Limited, of the property legally described as Northwest 26918, 52085, Provincial Trunk Highway 10, roll number 50500, applied to vary the application of the Cornwallis Municipality Zoning Bylaw number 1664-03-2016, as amended under Part 5, Table 5-2, in order to reduce the rear yard setback in the agricultural general zone from 25 feet to 14 feet, and whereas after careful consideration of the application and any representation made for or against the variations sought by the applicant, council approves said variation order -009-25C. Motion by Councilor Brown, seconded by Councilor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried. Considering the complexity, the number of people who spoke in favor and in objection, and what we are continuing to receive information on the Islamic Center's application for the conditional use of that land, and we just received information literally an hour before the meeting started today. We need time to absorb all that information, consider all sides, as well as, you know.
I'll make a motion. Oh, sorry.
Did you want to say something there, Councillor Drowan?
No, I was just gonna say I'll make a motion to table that for the moment, if that's. We're still getting more information on the subject, right?
So there's a motion on the floor to table that until the next meeting? Is that what your intention is?
Yes.
Anybody?
I'll second it. That's a motion.
Oh, sorry.
Seconded by Councilor Maxwell. There's a lot of information that we received today and in the few days up until this meeting. And like I said, we need time to absorb it, and there will be additional discussions. And yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we often left after a public hearing when nobody's arrived. And we've said, wow, I wish somebody would have shown up. Well, we got our wish.
Yeah, this was our
So, I'm thinking, yeah, we need a little bit more time to go through it. Thank you.
So call for the question then, to table this until the next meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried. So we will table this till the next meeting.
Which is September the 2nd.
September the 2nd, yeah.
If there are any questions or concerns, you can write to the subject. We'll be more than happy to respond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Be it resolved that council accept as recommended by administration the quote of $5,000 submitted by Mathewson and Company for a review and update of Cornwall's policies as follows. Review of existing policies to ensure alignment with legislation, updates of existing policies where necessary, development of additional policies pertinent to the Island of Cornwallis, draft of the policy and procedure manual of changes as suggested, and finalized policy and procedures manual.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councillor Drohan, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question, all in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried. All right. Be it resolved that the Manitoba Assessment Services annual report be accepted as received.
Motion.
Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's carried. Whereas the administrative assistant, Samara Brissett, has successfully completed the introductory probationary period of 6 months with a performance review conducted, be it resolved that council approves the appropriate pay increase as recommended by administration. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Brown. Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
That's carried.
Should we just make a notice of motion while we're still on camera?
That's
Before
a
we shut down for in-camera stuff?
good point. So we'll go to number 14.
So just recognizing it, that we have
Okay.
received
Yeah.
written notice of motion
So
on.
yes, we have received a notice of motion from Councillor Maxwell regarding our decision made for the conditional use of the application for subdivision. Where is it here?
8366.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah, subdivision 4116-24-8633.
Oh, 33.
Okay, so be it resolved that in accordance with the Municipal Act, Section 152.3, council does hereby close the meeting to the public and move in camera at 6:36 PM to discuss personnel, a matter that is in the preliminary stages in respect with which discussion in public could prejudice the municipality's ability to carry out its activities or negotiations, the conduct of existing or anticipated legal proceedings, the conduct of an investigation under or enforcement of an act or bylaw, the security of documents or premises, a report of the ombudsman received by the head of council, and further be it resolved that council agrees to keep in confidence all matters discussed at this closed session. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Brown. Call for the question. All in favor? Councillor Drohan, are you there?
I'm gonna end our,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear us?
All right, yes,
We call for the question to move in camera.
yeah, sorry, that was I.
Okay. Carried.
and
Okay, we're in camera. We're closing the